taking their own action against him.
Yeah, Smee, you can tell he's aware of this sort of presence. Rattling off a couple of shots through that on the sort of door position, see what he can land.
They're pushing long.
The longer that Big have to understand the position of Aggo, the worse that it's going to get for them in this round. They've now realized that there is probably no one situated toward this A-long position. Bomb is in lower tunnel as well, so it seems like maybe he wants to be a short commit with the two players in tunnels rotating through lower.
Could be. Or a mid-commitment through doors.
Yeah,
into,
around to B.
I mean, either way, time is ticking, right? They'll have to make a decision soon, and it has to come swiftly and absolutely without doubt. Here we go. It's a B commit. Lehman through the smoke. He's blinded out. Still gets one. Okay, there goes Daisy, and the op is down. Or the rifle is down. See, next car, he is only good for the one, and with B-side lost. Oh, there goes Furlan. Holy hella-moly. Csgo, they get away with a potential easy victory right now.
Seems like it. Yeah, they've been able to again force out the save of Big. They have the double AWP. They are not going to be giving that one up lightly, so there we go. That is going to be what is now a 6-3. Aggo been able to double the scoreline of what Big have thus far, and oh boy, this is not looking so good for Big right now. They're seeming to be very, very challenged against the side that is currently, after their reformation, ranked at 167th in the world. Of course, they've sort of had the previous roster sort of dissipate, so their point value is depreciated across HLTV. But they peaked at 67th. So they've only done a fraction of the success of what Big have had, currently sat at 22nd. Another pause to be taken, hopefully nothing too serious in the form of tech. Should just be tactical though. Big, they need to start doing something. The fact that Aggo already have 6 rounds on the T side and can be getting a lot more in the next couple is really starting to become a worrying factor. Yes, it's a map pick from Aggo, but again, like you said, with Nuke up next, that is anyone's game statistically if we look on paper. So Big have to be performing in this map. They have to essentially take victory to sort of not guarantee a 2-0, but just to ensure themselves in the series that Nuke could actually go wrong.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing, right? Nuke is such a wild card for both of these two sides that whoever loses Dust, you know, Nuke is going to be up in the air up until the very last millisecond, up until the very last man standing on that series, or you know, third map, or whatever tie score we might be going into Nuke. Either way, Csgo, this is a glorious start for them, and quite honestly, it's quite a surprise. I did not expect them to be able to contend this well, this early on. You know, sure enough, I you know, did predict that we will see at least 10 rounds out of Aggo, something of the like. But this is early on Aggo getting those 10 rounds by the looks of it. And setting the precedence or the bar this high, if Big don't get their heads out of the sand, I mean, we all know what could happen next.
Yeah, seriously, this could be one of the more disappointing games out of Big that we've seen. Even back when we cast our minds to before this roster changed, one of the lands that we casted them at was Mochi. Where they had, again, quite a disappointing run. They came, as far as I can remember, they went out in the upper stage of the...
Yes, they went out in the group stage.
In the group stage, they lost like 2-0 to VP, right?
Yep. They were pretty easily defeated.
And again, just showing what this Big side definitely have about them. The LAN performances over the past few months seeming to be definitely out of their hands. At least Tabson this time, he is able to open things up, trades it back into a 4-on-4, but again, Aggo looks so confident with the way they set themselves up. Groovy takes out Tizzy, and that's on the other side of the map. It forces a rotate toward that B bomb site and the second man through CT as well. If Aggo strike right now, they've got perfect time to be able to do this. The Molotov is not going to be effective whatsoever. It's essentially all down to XANTARES here in this 4-on-3. And while he's already been Molotov out of position, the spam comes, but no damage dealt.
And look at this. The drawback.
Oh my.
Grubby takes down B defense, that's it. All of a sudden, XCOM, they're making the run back towards B already. XANTARES still on site, but he can't do anything. MHL takes them all down single-handedly almost, and it's 7-3. Aggo now They really are starting to pump up the pressure. The steam is rising from their hands. They are hot as fire, and Big, well, if they can't shut them down in time, things are really going to get out of hand. By the looks of it, Big, pistols and Kevlar, a few nades to support it, taking long control as best they can. And look at Csgo, the reply from them. They read well into this. They do not go aggressive themselves, or at least they do not wish to lose their rifles. They'll be supporting each other best they can. Furlan and Mac-10 behind doors on mid. Maybe, yeah, there's the flash. Sydney helping him out. XANTARES spotted in CT, but what a way to open up a series. And I gotta say, Big, they're not playing too poorly. It's just even supporting each other with good pop flashes, with, you know, good utility usage, but the kills are not coming through. That's the problem. They're losing the duels straight up, clear and simple. The duels are just being lost everywhere. Lehman, he's gonna find the push. It's Smuya first to fall.
Yeah, I think that was through long doors as well, so...
Yep.
Csgo just so hyper aware of the positions of these big players right now in these ecos. Tizian close corner, surely one that Sydney checks, and of course it is. Again, just leaving XANTARES on the back of the bomb site, and well, he's already dead. Ruby's there to hold the mid flank, and of course gets only the one, as he's tagged pretty low by Tabson. Neek's good spray with a CZ, but he's already out of the round. 8-3, and Csgo, surprisingly, they've already won the first half here. 8 rounds is, of course, the minimum to do that, and I don't see this side slowing down whatsoever at this point. They've gotten way too many rounds already on this T side, and Big, they've given us absolutely nothing. They're back onto a full buy, of course, but Smuya, Glass Cannon AWP, has been arguably very, very quiet throughout this game so far. Both Tizian and Smuya, again, were pretty quiet during the previous map on Furia.
Yeah. And that's the scary part. They're not feeling it by the looks of it. They're not having their day. It's just everything is going down the drain. All their plans seem to be collapsing right in front of them. And Smuya, he was so good with the op. Unfortunately, still not enough back against Furia. We have XANTARES and Smuya taking short control. Furlan is patiently waiting for that, though, and this battle coming up on short is going to be of vital importance for the A hold. Both players in CT as well. XANTARES going to be boosting Chapson back onto short by the looks of it. But still, the point is, Csgo, they've got the flank on short, although Smuya, I don't know. By the looks of it, he's not aware if there's a player on short. Furlan, he's waiting up until the very last few seconds. And here comes the engagement now. 4 players on the defense. Good nades, Groupie, low HP. And the start is perfect. Tapson double spray down. That's it. That's exactly what you love to see. Furlan, though, through short. There's the first. Picks up the op even. And he's going to now help with the hold, or at least the overwatch of sight. Sydney is ready for the peak as XANTARES is taken down. Next refrags. Sydney, what is this peak, though? This aggressiveness into CT almost cost him his life and potentially the round itself. MHL, though, he's in pit with the op. Sydney, 4 HP.
Yeah, and surely this is not retakeable whatsoever right now. Sydney, jumping shot. And it is all down to MHL. Spots the initial barrel. Has to try and get on the defuse, though, for the CT side. And MHL, he's going to keep on firing, but finally, to be dispossessed out of the round. Neeks has the defuse kit. And Big will finally wrap one up. Just barely. But they get the defuse in. Tabson a 4K, though. He surely not humanly possible to do that every single round to provide success for Big. They need the rest of the side to be stepping up right now.
Yeah.
And Csgo, you can see, even with Furlan out on front with 12 kills, the same as Groovy, the rest of the side is still pretty consistent. 8 and 6 for these players, whereas Smuya and Tizian still on 3 and 5 from around 3 or 4 rounds ago. They've not yet been able to get themselves a couple of kills. So, XCOM, they win this round. They put Big back down to square one, and it seems like double digits may be inevitable for the T side. I don't think we sort of expected this sort of performance out of XCOM. I'm loving it so far. Smuya, though, great first kill. Tizian does get the smoke down onto the molly. But Smuya finally able to sort of bring some value with that AWP opens up into the B bomb site.
Yeah, I mean, the entry is there. Question is, how do they continue? Do they allow Csgo freedom across the map? Do they allow them to be snuffed out. One by one. Tapson, as soon as he spots any danger on long, he should be getting the hell out of there. He can't hold it by himself. Unless he sprays down both coming through doors, he's not going to get very far with that. The bomb on short. Furlan looking like the commitment will be coming towards A. With MHL to support it. And Big, there's no flank yet, nor is there any engagement. Tapson, though, like I said, unless he sprays down both, he has to run away. And he does exactly as I said, the former. He's going to have himself 2 kills easily. Let's see. Next. That's enough. That's all he needed to do. 5-8. XCOM go. The rebuy is still coming through. They have enough to drop an AK to MHL. Maybe even an AWP. Why not? You know, they have the money for it. But Big. 5 rounds is a start. If they can close it out into a 7-8 half, it's going to be a bit of a, I guess you could say, redemption for their poor performance in the first few rounds, or in the first starting few rounds of the map itself.
And finally, it seems like Big are actually here in this game now, actually present, to finally give us what they're made of. And Big. XCOM going to be pushing out onto the back of the B bomb site. Leman, great first frag. Inside of the smoke, Smooya lines up the collat. Will trade his position out toward the doors, and looking perfect so far for the Big side now into a 3-on-3 with Leman down to 13 points of health. Have to try and get that bomb transported across to the site, but a perfect boost out of Smoo. Gives the advantage straight back to Ago. Well, straight back to Big, sorry, 45 seconds on the clock. Bomb at least to be planted, but again, with this man advantage they have, it is all essentially down to how they hold these positions now. And with the man so low, it is so important they get at least the first frag. There's a tunnel flank coming through as well. They have at least a couple of smokes to guarantee these save positions.
Well, no unlucky break XCOM have that the time is on their side still, and it's ticking fast and fast. The Smooya though spots one, gets the frag, and it's all eyes on Lehman with 10 HP, well 13. It's not really going to be doable, and there is enough time to defuse, of course. XANTARES will be pulling it off 6-8. And what a way to make the comeback possible, or at least to make the return possible. XCOM. I'm wondering what the response is to this kind of swift turnaround. Big, for the first few, they stood no chance, as if they didn't know what they were doing. All of a sudden, Big is just smashing them to the ground themselves. Smooya, nice entry again with the AWP. He has himself a big opener. And Smooya saves the day for Big, if you ask me, in this kind of position. As soon as he gets the first kill, that's all he needed to do. By the way, okay, no, at first there it looked like XANTARES might be disconnected or something, but it's going to be a bit of a B push with the bomb. What the hell is going on right now? XCOM they push B with the bomb, yet one player in mid not really helping out. And Sydney finally gets one, but Tizian easy frags on MHL for days. And Sydney, well, the 1-on-3, they know he was last seen and heard at mid doors. Therefore, it's either upper or it's short. He's going to be in, and well, there it is, 7-8. Big. They salvage what they can out of the first half, and they make it, well, the best possible scenario they could have.
What a perfect way to sort of end the half, considering what it could have been for Ago. They could have been on easily double digits, but the fact that Big actually bring it back, finally we see Smooya waking up as well. It took him such a long time to kickstart that sort of AWP of his, but as soon as he got that sort of collat onto the early stage, that was where he started to wake up, and finally we see some sort of execution out of Big that makes them look at least a little better on this CT side. I mean, 8-7 is not particularly the best scoreline, but Ago itself, with the one round coming into the CT half with, would like to be kicking things off with a pistol, and well, again, it's going to be the exact same strategy of Ago that Big will be utilizing into the pistol round. 5 players down toward A long. They've given up site control on the CT side, though. And as they will soon surely realize that it is the A-long position that Big are taking, here's now the rotate to come. Groovy locked off by all the smokes, and well, Big as they take over the bomb site. Tabson taking a fair bit of damage. The same though for these CT players. The man, good first shot, but again as that rotate comes through, XCOM have to be so careful. Jump shot from Furlan, but Smir able to execute. Leman and Groovy both incredibly low and into a 4-on-4.
And all of a sudden, the real party begins. The pistol round is going to be pretty vital. Well, it is pretty vital here for both sides. Big, they have themselves an excellent afterplant. As long as they hold on to their pants, it's all good. MHL double, though, still a 2v2. And Goose is going to be next waiting, but he doesn't stand the chance. And it all eyes on Tizian. The plant is so bad, actually, he can just hold it down. Nothing that Tizian can do at all. And the defuse is there. It's going to be 9 rounds to XCOM go. And even the kill in the end, Sydney saves the day. The kit and the bad plant and the bad afterplant for Big with the short. Well, not really. I'm going to rephrase that. Not really the bad afterplant, just the fact that Tizian is the last man standing coming through short. Yeah, bad. Exactly. He went for the flank and succeeds in killing 2 players, but unfortunately, the rest of his teammates died way too fast, not even allowing him time to get onto site by the time that the defusal started. And, well, Big, they'll force it up. 2 AKs, SG, Scout, Deagle. Not a lot to rely on. But still a pretty good buy considering their options, considering their position.
A couple of rifles can always change the pace of the game as well.
Yep. Pretty much.
These AKs sort of, and the Krieg as well, much better than some of the FAMASs that this side has got. So, again, they're going to be relinquishing this A-site control. Having to rely on their rotates. Going to be boosting the man up. That's smart. They realize they've got no one on site, so going to boost up Ruby to see what he can find. Tabson. Ooh, that was close. Yeah, nearly walked into the Krieg of Tabson right there with the scope. That's always a dangerous angle to be taking. But as Csgo move up toward, his Big move up toward the back of a long Ruby. Great first frag. Has to come through from a trade out of Tizian. But it's not going to matter. Smooya and Neeks into a 4-on-3. Oh, sorry, a 4-on-2. But how do they even come back from this right now?
Well, one way is to make sure that you do not lose the player on long. Unfortunately, that's not going to happen. And it's almost a clean round for XCOM. They find themselves a rather simple victory almost. And with double digits now on the board, also presumably a bit of a eco round for Big. XCOM starting off with a bang. This is a start to the series that never thought would be possible. I mean, quite honestly, the performance right now out of XCOM is admirable to say the very least. While for Big, both XANTARES and Nex and Tizian being a bit of a sleepyhead, or having a few moments here to dream about, I guess. Not really as impactful as they should have been. Furlan and Grubby, the challenge on long will succeed, and the Molotov burns Tizian. I mean, this is an eco run after all, but whenever you see rounds like this, right, you know that Csgo, or aka XCOM is having a lot of fun.
Yeah, for sure, especially with the lead that they're now being able to establish. It does get a lot easier for them to relinquish some of this pressure. They're not going to be as nervous coming into the series as they were now. Because obviously when you hear the name Big, especially when you think back to sort of 2017, 2018, Big was such a solid side, easily top 10 in the world back then. And obviously coming in to face that sort of name value of the squad, you think, yeah, we're probably already in the doghouse here, but the fact that they've been able to start so well and continue that pace into the CT side just starts to make XCOM that little bit more comfortable, a little bit more confident. They can now start to use the flair of their players. They have such a confident Orpa in MHL that once he gets onto the AWP, we'll start to see a lot of kills out of him, that's for certain. But even with the 5 rifles, they've still like a very confident sight hold. Especially with those FAMASs, I didn't expect that round to come to fruition, but hey-ho, it does. Furlan, though. Smoke is dissipating. Smooya has the chance to try and catch his head off here, but Furlan, he's just one step ahead of the game. You'd think with an AWP scope, he has all the vision in the world, but it just, the way the smoke dissipates and the angle works, he just doesn't get absolutely anything out of that. And, well, Big, what do? Try and commit towards short, but still have the man in Goose to hold the CT rotate, the pit player watching long. This is going to be so hard for them to take the site right now.
Well, if they want to succeed in taking the site, they first have to get rid of either Lehman or MHL. One or the other will do, but they need to get rid of one minimum. If they lose an entry, the rotations coming in through with Grubby is going to complicate matters a lot more than it should have been otherwise. And MHL, I'm not sure if he spotted this, but certainly he knows the pop flash is coming through now. Here comes the engagement. And MHL, he's going to find the first nose. XANTARES refrags. That's a good start. At least Big will get the plant for short. And it's back to a 4-on-4 retake. 3 players through CT. Lehman holding long. And Tizian, does he go back towards long to try and flank across? Certainly he does. Yeah, he's definitely going to do that. He's so patient about it, so we can see this. Tapson finds Furlan, and that should be the end right here, right now for Csgo. This retake no longer successful, at least possible even. Although Lehman finds one. Sydney to be taken down in the end. Tizian and XANTARES will clean house, and that is the 8th point to Big. Finally, they grab themselves a bit of a saving grace. And mind you, at the best possible timing they could have had done it. Well, really, kind of like better late than never, I guess is the way to go it.
Yeah, it had to come at some point, and finally it does. Big, though, they are not yet out of the water this time. Csgo going to be bringing out that double AWP setup to already kickstart round number 20. With Furlan bolstering the secondary AWP. We will see how he holds down toward middle, but again, with Big still being on this sort of breaking point position, they're not really safe. If they were to lose this round, it would give Csgo so much room to maneuver in this series itself that it might be too much for Big to handle here. And well, inside of the CT spawn position, Groovy going to sort of, ooh, the timing could really not work for him here depending how quickly they swing. But Furlan, as he lands the first with that AWP, that's AWP for AWP battle, and well, Furlan comes out on top. Already an instant 5-on-4 for Csgo to prosper from. MHL finds a second on the back of the short position. And Big, they're just dropping like flies at the moment. There's nothing they can really do, and I wouldn't even be surprised if they already considered a save. I don't think they're breaking into this B bomb site. Their setup with Sydney in this close corner is just too good right now, unless he dies quickly.
Yeah, they're not going to get into B site unless they're able to blind them somehow and eliminate their crossfire. Sydney, well, he's going to be caught. Next, okay, double, that's enough. Back to a 3-on-2. And it is Next that's going to be crossing to plant the bomb. Teasing, holding from door, and some... What? Grubby, what are you doing? A 3v2 retake, and he decides to go peek before the plant even happens. He knows he doesn't need to, but he goes for it anyway. That's a huge mistake and a shadow step there. Will potentially cause XCOM to lose this round. Next and Tizian, two that you can rely on being able to close out rounds for you. And all of a sudden, that's it. I think Next gets the ace. He does! There's the ace clutch.
Wow.
Next is going to pull it off. 9-11. XCOM, go. That was a huge mistake in that 3v2. They should have played it a lot differently than they did. But it allows Big to return, and, well, return in a big way they do.
Straight back into the game, theoretically. Csgo are now onto their full eco. They'll be taking the USPs and looking to buy into the next round, but even so, this is Big. Surely being able to put round number 10 on the board, finally ascertain that double-digit number they've been sort of desperately searching for throughout this game. Considering Csgo has had so much dominance, I don't think Big has sort of expected them to play this well or to play to their strengths in this map so far. Of course, it is their pick, so they've got to be expecting something good, but... Ooh, look at the flank coming through right now from the CT side. They're shifting all the way around. And surely Tizian, no, he's aware of it. Wow. That's a great bit of game sense. Yeah, as soon as he turns around, whether it was luck or not, he finds the info. Laman able to return fire, but again, as they get that AK, damage to be done, back down to a 2-on-2. And my gosh, this is now winnable. They've dropped down towards B, but maybe they get caught. Spotted out the info, and that will send a player to go for the peak, potentially. MHL, he'll catch out the first. Unfortunately, it was not the bomb carrier, but he's still on 89 points of health, and this is definitely winnable for him.
Yeah, back to a 1-on-1. Clutch round begins. MHL, he spotted XANTARES. No Kevlar, unfortunately, and XANTARES going to go straight for the fight.
Smart.
Beautiful choice. Yeah, very smart. He doesn't want to play the long con. He goes in straight. He knows that you know, he knows that MHL will be coming for him through doors or through window. There's no other way, no other choice but to go there. And well, he takes the best choice, which is a fight to be had. Unfortunately, could have ended differently if MHL would have just been, you know, patient, would have just stayed put for a few seconds, maybe waited what XANTARES does. But in this case, it will be the engagement that saves them. Big 10 rounds on the board. And they're one away from tying it together. Whilst for XCOM, they've come a long way. They certainly have succeeded in proving to everybody that they're not a bad team, nor are they a team that should be joked around with. But yeah, alas, I mean, they're kind of joking a little bit here and there. There are a few moments where they could have perhaps performed a little bit better. Or there were a few moments. Match pause, by the way. I think it's a tactical for Big. Yep, it is a tactical for Big. Just checked. We will be unpausing momentarily, though. Here we go. 10-11. All eyes on Big right now.
Especially some of these players on Big have to start stepping up. Tizzy and especially Furlan. What a peak, though.
Jesus.
Gonna swing straight into lower mid already. Able to guarantee his side the first kill, and that's a really big blunder to be taking early if you're Big right now, because you have to work for that refrag. Yes, Furlan's low, but he has that AWP to work with, not going to be shying away from taking any sort of angle peeks. MHL, considering that he's the main AWP player, giving the role to Furlan at this point might be not too bad of a choice, considering he's opened it up pretty well. But again, as he sort of goes for the boost over the top, Smooya surely has the spot, but the box just barely denies him. He knows exactly where the player is, just can't find the right angle to go and face him. Not going to either. Smart to just back away, make sure that he keeps himself safe and doesn't sacrifice another player, because if they fall in a 5-on-3, you can essentially start to say the round's over at that point. Big would be having such a hard task of getting into that A-bomb site, but this time seeming pretty confident to go for a smoke execution, making their way toward A short again. There's no long sort of push this time, though, so there's not a lot of depth in this round, just relying again on these early entries to try and find the peak. Smooya misses the shot wide open there. 45 seconds, and MHL, all he has to do right now is sit back and waste the time. They have the rotate coming over from Groovy if needed, and now it's being called on MHL wide open, but Groovy, he'll find a double, keeps the man advantage, and it's all down to Smooya and Tizzy, and a 3-on-2 and bomb should be planted. But again, this retake surely going to be easier just with the man advantage.
I'm not sure what MHL was attempting to achieve there. The Molotov, maybe it would have burned him a little bit, but certainly it wasn't burning him from the get-go. So he had a second or two more to decide what the hell he wanted to do there. And certainly could have gone about differently peeking that angle. But here we go. Tizian back to 2v2. And all of a sudden, it becomes evident the Big is going to have themselves a bit of a big barbecue. It's going to be Lehman left. He finds Smooya. It's still a 1-on-1. No kit, no time. 11-11 as Big will tie the score by the save of Tizian. Another ace almost coming through there. And he was quiet throughout the entirety of this first and almost second half. But he wakes up big time. He secures a very important tie and a very important reset for XCOM as well. Lehman, he saves the M4. We could perhaps see, well, I say a reinvestment, but in this case, I would rather not see that, because that not only would completely deplete the economy of Argo, but put them in a position where Big would then have a very easy way of getting the first match. Lehman, though. Oh, Lehman. Damn. Okay. Still a 4-on-3 though. Big. They have the upper hand with the rifles, but they have to deal with Deagles and P250s, which is the scary part.
Ruby all but confirming that it is the A-bomb site that they're looking to take as well. Bullet spam from MHL not going to provide anything. All three players of Big making their way toward the A-long position. Plant to go down. Ruby himself, though, has managed to retrieve that M4 and does actually have Kevlar to work with. This could actually start to get a little shaky, especially if Ruby can sort of let his teammates do some damage early with those pistols. They could be in with a great chance of being able to retake this. The 4-on-3, and they have a defuse kit onto Sydney as well. Molotov onto the site to ensure that no one is going to be lingering that closely, but as MHL moves up, already going to be dead. The rest of the side coming in for the retake. Furlan in the AK, but going to get sprayed down, and seems like finally It will have an understanding of how to hold the site there. Big. Getting it closed down will do a lot of damage. Tabsa may even die to the bomb blast as well, but Round is going to time out. Gets himself the AK. Oh, does die. Okay, just very closely. Yeah. Loses the rifle, unfortunately, but Big, they get the round themselves. They won't be too fussed. They do have money to rebuy, but XCOM, this is their time to shine. Now they're onto their full buy. They essentially have to win this round to keep themselves in the latter stage of the game. They now have taken the lead in their hands. It's been a long time coming, but finally it's here, and what can XCOM do to prevent it? A push down toward Long, but nothing to come of it. Tizian will take the second, and Big, I think they finally found their confidence in this game. They're off to a steamer start now.
Yeah, that's what I'm kind of sensing here. They've raised to the challenge. They've overcome their stress, otherwise the blockade that they had perhaps in their minds, and they couldn't get the ball rolling. But with the way it's been opening so far, it seems like they've got their heads on straight again. MHL up in hand. So far, no cigar to find a kill or two. And I love the fact that Big, after getting the 2 frags, they do not push back towards site, or at least to site. They just kind of linger a little bit longer on Long, just buying a little bit of time, and wanting to put as much doubt into the minds of XCOM go as much as they can. So they make as many mistakes as possible. One thing I'm wondering is, XCOM do they even decide to go for the retake of A if they lose it? Because in a 5-on-3, you usually don't do that kind of things. And XANTARES will be dropped. But A side has been lost for that trade, and Big will be perfectly happy with that kind of switcheroo. They don't mind losing a player in order to win the round itself. The bigger picture is what matters here, not just a single kill or two. Tapson down to 37, and by the looks of it, XCOM will actually attempt the retake.
This, yeah.
Yeah, I'm surprised that they're actually going to commit to this. Their money is low. They lose this round.
Yeah, they're pulling away now.
Yeah, okay. Thank God they're pulling away. Furlan needs to save the AK as well, not just the op or the M4. And XCOM go. They will rebuy next, surely. So the question is, can they put an end to this return for Big?
Starting to really pull away now, Big. They've got themselves that 2-round advantage, and like you said, thankfully, IGO have that round loss bonus beginning to build, meaning they can drop rifles to their final 2 players. Lemon can even afford his own if he wanted to, but let's see what happens. Yeah, we'll get a drop out from his teammate, so plenty of utility. That's exactly what IGO needed. They had the drops to be made.
Yeah.
They can take them and they can open up into that full set of utility. They're going to go for the boost this time, though. Making sure they can see over the top there with MHL. Going to get flashed out straight away, though, so not going to be seeing anything with that AWP. Surprised they've not gone for a double AWP as well, but money maybe didn't stretch that far. XANTARES looking to pressure down towards middle, though, and I think that's where Big really start to shine their lights in this sort of latter end of the second half, is where they can start to push on that pressure. AGO seem to be a little bit sort of not disadvantaged, but when they're challenged early by Big, that's where they sort of start to get a little shaky and don't particularly look their best. And Big, for one of the first times in this entire T side, are actually committing a gun round to the B bomb site. It's been maybe a long time coming. Sydney dropped down to 54 already, and I doubt that he really survives. He gets a first, does damage to a second, but that's all he's going to be able to muster up this time. Big taking over the bomb site, and with Tizian holding down the A site flank as well. He seems to have everything locked and confirmed, and yeah, that must confuse XCOM. They die 1 player toward the A bomb site as well, but still a lot of that pressure on towards B. Bomb to be planted, and again, maybe another save out of XCOM AGO, but it's getting to that point where they can't afford to save any longer. The rounds are running out rapidly.
Definitely running out rapidly, at the very least. 14-11, and I mean, as long as they keep the 3 rifles alive to rebuy the next, and we could see still a resurgence for XCOM AGO, but this is something we're used to seeing from teams that are not at the level Big is, I guess. The chokes, the failures, the lack of finish, or therefore the lack of being able to finish the map itself, or at least, you know, secure a few more rounds to maybe pull off a potential overtime. XCOM AGO, it's a do or die time right now. That's it. They will have themselves a rebuy. They will have themselves a potential secondary op if they really wanted to. But it's not going to take away from the position that this is now Big's chance to take it and to finish map 1, where they should have already taken it a little while ago almost. Or by statistics, they should have won it at least a little bit earlier. Although a tactical pause for Csgo, double up comes through, as hoped, as imagined. And they're gambling everything on this round. And of course they should. There is no other doubt. Or there is no doubt that they need this victory more than anything.
Yeah, they lose this one, unfortunately. They probably lose the first map, which sort of was how we imagined this series went. But Csgo have put up a massive challenge compared to what I expected anyway. I was thinking it would be a close game, maybe 16-9 or something, but the fact that Csgo have pushed Big into double digits and have made them sweat arguably many times through this game, they've looked like even in that first half on T side, Csgo could have been breezing to a 12-3, 11-4 sort of half. And it was only fortunate that Big found a little bit of their footing in that CT side, that they actually were able to make 7 rounds and get up to that position where they sort of, even after losing what was both of the pistol rounds, currently leading 14-11, that just shows how much of an execution, a prowess Big has put into their gun rounds, because they lost the pistol and the 3 rounds after, or the 2 rounds after. But were able to win the majority of the gun rounds, and essentially, unfortunately, CS, most of the gun rounds do matter, even though you get those early pistol advantages. It does come down to the gun rounds, and Big just seemed a class above the rest. Tabson's already in CT, by the way.
He's aware. Grubby is aware that somebody's in CT. I'm 100% certain he heard them drop. Problem is, there's a smoke to cover that. And Sydney, he spotted in window. Furlan, deep push into upper. He's gonna get himself one. It's gonna be teasing with a... Well, actually, Tapson and tease into returns. And Tadas one more. Still a 2v2. A site is open. They don't know this, or at least doesn't seem like they might be aware of this. Although lower, they hear Furlan.
Oh, and they spot the last man as well.
Yeah, and they know where Sydney is. Ooh.
Not sure why Smoothie commits, but...
You know what? At this point, Xantares... Oh!
Yeah.
Oh my god, Xantares! He's playing...
He's got a molly. Oh, yeah. What is... I don't know what Smoothie is trying to do in that situation, but... That's the sign of a frag-hungry UK player right there, boys. I know them myself.
I'm not sure why Xantares wants to switch out to the op, though. Like,
especially at a one-on-one, right?
HP. Yeah, it's a one-on-one. You're proficient with the AK, not the AWP. Just keep to what you know, not to what you might want to make it flashy with. Well, XCOM stave off the 15th and the map point for Big. That is a pretty big thing. And it's gonna cause perhaps a little bit of turmoil in the camp of Big themselves. We can see that they have 2 Galils. We'll make it just the one. Teasian will drop a pistol on Tapson. And this opens a venue where Csgo could potentially actually find a victory. Tapson's already out. Nobody checks it. Furlan and Sydney will clear house as Nex finds one. Tags onto Furlan. Does a lot of damage. Where's the support? Where's the rotation? Grubby. So slow to help out his teammate. Doesn't matter though. Furlan still gets away with one more. Nex. How is he? Finally he takes him down, but it's a little bit too late. And that's going to be an eco round, a full one for Big. Unless they wish to give a free round to XCOM afterwards, they have to go for an eco here. And this is turning out to be a very weird turnaround. Well, 14-13. Big. Deagle's in hand. Well, just the one Deagle in the hand of Nex.
This is not a good round.
Nope. I mean... This obviously is not a good round. The worst round was that gun round where they should have won, but
yeah,
Csgo were able to shut him down completely. The 26th round specifically. Well, let's see how it works out. The 2 ops, I said it. It's a full investment. It's everything they have on the line for Csgo, and it works out so far. It gives them a pretty distinct advantage.
Got a run boost over. See what they can bring to the table, but Groovy, he gets himself 3. MHL able to find one in return as well, even with the player of Neeks finding a frag. And yeah, MHL just locking it down all day long. USP in hand, and finally we'll get traded back. But not before that CT side have already locked out the round. Good, fortunate sort of aspect that Big get themselves a bomb plant, though. I think that was their sole achievement in that round, because they need a little bit more cash to be able to bring a full buy. And thankfully, Even with Csgo getting up to round number 14 and tying the scoreline, Big will have a plentiful purchase going into round number 29. It's coming down to that close wire again, though, and a pause to be taken. Presumably by Big. Give themselves a little bit of a tactical talk, a little bit of a team discussion. This is a round they have to win, and Csgo, they've even got a build-up of money in the bank. They can afford into round number 30, whatever the situation. Big have to win 2 very outrageous rounds in a row, and Csgo, they could even do the same at this point. We could even see a switcheroo, a 16-14 in their favor. And probably for the game that they've played so far, they probably should be rewarded with a victory in map 1. They've showed an absolute blinder of a play so far, and honestly, Big, they're just not cruising through the game, just getting rounds left, right, and center, but they're not... Probably shouldn't be a 14-14 scoreline. I think it should... This game probably should have been over way sooner.
That's what I'm thinking, right? That's the thing. Like, Big... We both kind of called it before the game officially started that this most likely goes in their favor regardless of how good Csgo might have been. But, you know, the way they're able to contend against them on Dust 2, it tells the story that Csgo, there's more to them than it meets the eye, and especially given that they're such a young team, fresh team. There's not really much Big could have prepared for. I mean, I doubt they prepared much for this to face off Csgo. But nonetheless, it's a team that can be unpredictable, that has young talents that you're not used to playing against. There's maneuvers they perhaps are pulling off that Big have never, well, I wouldn't say never seen, just it's very rarely seen at this kind of level of CS. Tapson, though, the entry is his, and this, look at the prompt. Big immediately push out mid. They change their momentum, they change their direction. They're going to be going for the split B. Nyx barely alive as the spray comes through the smoke, but it's Smooya and Tizian with the return. Yep. That's a big ol' oof right there. Csgo, they went so well, or they did so well, and all of a sudden, it seems like they still will not be able to stave off Big and their map point coming up. A 4-on-2, a save should be coming out from both of these two guys. They need to keep this open. One round and they can pull into OT, but that one round is going to come at a very difficult time. Luckily, there's a little bit of bank to fall onto, but Big... We can see how quickly they reacted. As soon as they got the frag, bam, they just went right out of the mid, smoked CT, and executed the site. And that's what they needed, I guess, earlier on already. You know, a little bit more of a reactionary play rather than trying to keep to their preset tactics.
Oh boy, 2 rifles to be saved. One of which being the AWP. Valuable save to carry over. Yes, they do have money in the bank, and Furlan might even go for a secondary AWP moving forward. Maybe not. All into those rifles. All into that full commitment. Csgo, 1 round to take this into overtime. Try and keep their squad alive and keep their team moving. They want to keep fighting in this game. They've shown how good they can be. Just have to keep it up a little bit longer. Either that or we see Big taking a 16-14 and snatching away a map that probably should never have been theirs. A-long control. 4 players to go lurking. Looking for these CT players. They know they need 5. Very tough to get kills to close out this game. Bomb plant. And all the rest of it. And Big, one of the only times in this sort of E-side half that we've actually seen them take long but do it very, very slowly. They're going to be sort of waiting for XANTARES to see what he can bring toward that mid position. Smoke goes down, but still, look how close that Leman is. Just lingering, just waiting for XANTARES. Dinks him down to 10, and surely he doesn't get out of this alive. And of course he doesn't. Why would he ever? First kill already given to Csgo, and that's a great way to be going about it. Groovy on the edge of the smoke, trying to fight for his side. Might even go for the aggressive peek through that smoke, depending how the flashes come over. Damage done to MHL as well. 45 on the clock, though. Looking like bomb to be planted, and Big 5-on-4 retake. This is going to be so difficult for them.
No matter what happens next, it's all coming down to this. 4 men alive. Nobody in Goose, actually. Smooya finds himself 1. CT, that's Furlan to fall. 4-on-4, and off on MHL, gonna make things worse. Nix finds one, it's Grubby to
Oh
refract Sydney with
my.
a double though. I think that was a collateral or a lineup at least, and it's Muya back to a 1-on-2. He's got the ult, the plant is for him, and there's no smoke on the side of Csgo. But Smuya, he goes in close, he goes in personal, he's spotted, he's heard, and now without time to prevent the defuse, that is gonna be overtime confirmed. And Csgo, they pull it together, and they pull it away. Big. Coming up short.
Very short. XANTARES having such a quiet game, 14-24. He's the man that's meant to be drafted into this squad as a star player. And to say that he's fairly quiet during this game is probably an understatement. Even Tizian, who I believe had 3 kills at round 11, is now higher than what he is. And well, at least we have a solid overtime format. That is the one thing we can say. It's MR3, it's $10,000. This is where OT gets tactical. This is the format that we've been crying out to see in OT for a long time, because now it determines who buys those AWPs and how regularly you can afford them. Money is such a strong game for this one, and well, it's already starting out huge. 3-for-1 trade and big. Already guaranteeing by what looks like it an early overtime advantage.
Yeah. A great start for the mixed German squad. I mean, to be fair, I very much like the fact that this is MR3, $10,000. This is what I've been calling for all the time we've been casting our leagues. You know, I would have preferred to see $10,000 over $6,000 any time of the day. And it's not because, you know, you don't want to see players have their rightful weapons. It's because it forces the teams to be a little bit more conservative with what they buy and how much they buy it. Or how much, or how many grenades they take, how many defuse kits they take, and such and such. And Csgo, they lose this round. They have $0 left for the last one. Double up, M4s, full utility, 4 kits, which is 1 too many, but it's okay. MHL and Lehman, though, well. They will find themselves 2 frags early on, and I guess that way, Csgo are going to be having a chance to tie the score. Tapson, though, refrags. It's MHL to be caught on site. That's perhaps a bit of an issue, especially since there's nobody else on site itself.
Csgo play this sort of weird A-site setup where the majority of their hold comes from the retake. They come through CT and short, leave the site majoritively wide open. Ruby, though, playing from inside of that smoke. See what angle he can take. Well, the answer is none. XANTARES tag low, but Nex, he has to be that man that is so dominant on this mid-hold. He has to start coming for a flank fairly soon, because right now the bomb is down. They have really no commitment. Bomb is now lost entirely. I'm not sure what Big are trying to do here. And as Furlan takes down XANTARES, it is all on to Tabson. Bomb was left at the back of A-Long with no one even realizing, and as soon as all the players were dead, it's like, yeah, we forgot the bomb. Round at this point is already gone, and Tabson, last man, 30 seconds on the clock, might be able to sneak up towards short and pop onto Xbox, but as that grenade has been heard, Le Man's like, well, he's just throwing a smoke and he's not peeked, so probably going CT, and well, exactly so he is. 16-16. Scores are tied, and Csgo at least making one in that CT half, looking to find themselves a second.
Well, we're about to find out how well XCOM can keep up a potential lead, or if they can keep it at all. Right now, a bit of a short push. I love it. We haven't really seen much of this kind of aggression out of Csgo, at least not in the regulation time. It was more of a, you know, we saw a bit of an aggressive play towards upper B holes, or we saw a little bit of an aggressive play towards maybe mid sometimes at doors. But short, rarely had we seen such an aggressive stance. And I was kind of missing it, you know. I definitely prefer to see a few aces up the sleeve like this being used a little bit earlier on, maybe even, you know, taking the upper hand towards your opponent and potentially still winning in regulation. But right now, Big, they seem to be gathering the storm for B take. It's going to be Smooya and it's going to be XANTARES. They're going to be trying to sell the A fake. I presume XANTARES is going to go in alone. Smooya supporting through long. But Tapson, he's going to be caught or be catching Sydney. Furlan refrags and he's getting away scot-free. Uh-oh. The whole plan just collapses on top of the head of Big right now. The bomb been spotted, but look at this. 2 players still on long, and that's actually a bit of a saving grace because Csgo, they've over-rotated. They've overcompensated. And all of a sudden, it's back to a 4-on-4 with ASAT completely under control of Csgo. And MH... Oh, did he see him cross? I'm fairly certain he didn't see him cross at all. Smooya finds one from Car. And it's back to a 4-on-3. A-side still lost. No smoke to cover it though, and MHL finds one. Teasy and refrags. Furlan falls. MHL the second.
Oh.
Lehman on short. Somehow it works out, and Teasian a 1-on-2. No chance. MHL 3K hat trick to finish it off. 17-16 and Big. They drop big time. They had A control yet. Nobody decided to go either into CT. Nobody decided to go into short. And they just kind of let themselves go a little bit, and, well, it's showing. 33 frags for Furlan, though.
Yeah.
This guy, whew, he's having a good day today.
Massive lead of frags, but again, the rest of the side is actually pretty sort of level. 20 kills for both Sydney and Le Mans, and 23 for Groovy and MHL. It's sort of not as much of a split as what we see across Big. But again, still pretty consistent. But XCOM. That was such a weak hold from Big in that round. I'm not too sure what they tried to do there. The fact they were split across the map on a T side is probably never really a good idea.
I'm gonna say this. I mean, you know, obviously they wanted to fake A. All good and dandy. All good. No problem there. The problem was that Sydney was already in tunnels alongside, was it Furlan? No.
Oh yeah, it was Furlan, yeah.
Yeah, it was Furlan. And even though Big got the first frag in upper, they immediately lost the refrag. They couldn't catch Lehman or Sydney, excuse me, and they saw the bomb, or the bomb was spotted. And the response from XANTARES and Smooya couldn't be worse. They both pulled back, not towards short or CT, towards Car and long, instead of actually taking deeper control of short, which they needed, or CT, one or the other, depending what you really prefer. And once the bomb was coming to a close to cross the site, then you face that, or you cross that bridge once you get to it. Unfortunately for Big, they were a little bit, as you said, too split up. They had no control of anything really. The site even was not under their control. So Csgo, well, back to their running marathons. It's going to be a full investment, obviously. It's the second half of the first overtime. MHL on the AWP, the rest fully equipped. And we can see how conservative Big is playing with their economy. They're not over-investing, at least. They understand the basics of, a good amount of economy to be kept.
And Tara's playing a risky game as well. Flash over or smoke at least, to allow him maybe a little bit more room to maneuver, but again, XCOM not really wanting to fully commit to this. Nade would have been perfect at that time if XANTARES would have primed it enough. But again, it seems like a rotate to come out of Csgo moving into the final 40 seconds of the round. They're not going to be committing to anything just yet. Smooya inside of mid could be the ultimate destroyer of this one. Bomb is still in T-spawn for some reason. 30 seconds left on the clock. This has to be a full commitment very quickly. I'm not too sure what Csgo were trying to do here, but Smooya, he even turns around and still gets one of the kills. This now has to be a full commit out of Csgo, and I don't think they'll have the means necessary for this, and of course they won't. Bomb is already in the hands of the T side, but they have to break onto the bomb site very quickly, and with the first already dead, Smooya wraps up the second, 17-17, and that's a messy setup from Csgo there. Not too sure what they really tried to achieve with that one. Bomb in T-spawn with 30 seconds left. They're asking for the round to be gone.
I'm gonna go out of the blue here and say they probably didn't plan anything at all. Maybe they had a bit of a plan to split B perhaps, but once they realized the bomb was dropped that far behind, they needed to make a run for it. And of course, as you said, once you realize that 30 seconds the bomb is still T-base, yeah, that's when you're in deep scheisse. In any case, it is going to be a rebuy reinvestment. Obviously, both sides still have a little bit of money left in their bank. But XCOMAGO, they had one golden opportunity to be able to possibly turn it back on its head and, you know, close the map out. Unfortunately now, Big, I feel like they've I guess grabbed the reins of the carriage once more, and they're leading this party to a different kind of location, and XCOMAGO are not gonna like it one bit.
Oh, nay, that it's absent. Beautiful damage.
Yeah, pretty decent. Got a little bit to soften up the blow. Furlan as well. Oof. Wow. Look at the amount of damage before they even see a single player.
Right.
Furlan. Yep. Tapson though, this peak on long was a bit of too much.
Oh my god!
Oh! Teasian, there it is. That's what you love to see in Sydney. 1-on-4, well, he might not be from the land down under. And unfortunately, it's not going to help him out that he's named Sydney either. That's going to be 18-17. And now Big. One away from securing map 1 in overtime. I mean, better late than ever is what we can definitely say. But look at the money for XCOMAGO. They've invested so much in the last two. They barely have enough to... And then MHL comes across with a bloody shutdown. By the way, did I see Negev there?
I think it was a miss by,
Yeah, it must have been a miss by, okay. I was like, for a second there, while I was watching the minimap, I'm like, wait, that is a Negev in the peripheral vision of mine. But thank God it's not being used. It's not ad hoc we're watching.
Yeah. Or Robin.
Or Robin, yeah.
Still, that first kill is really going to put a dent into the armor of Big. 1 minute and 5 approaching, and still plenty of Aggo they've got left to work with. 2 players toward B. It's a decent defense, but it seems like at the moment Aggo wanting to focus toward maybe, yeah, B split. They showed an early phase towards short, but now they're going to be dipping through toward that mid position, and I don't even know if Big will be aware of this. Thankfully, Neeks is, and he spots out the first player. Has to try and retreat, though, and Furlan, he already shuts him down. Trade back, but into a 4-on-2, and I think we know where this ends.
Double overtime.
Seeming like it, yeah. This is now out of the hands of Big. Surely they've got defuse kits, but a single flashbang is all they've got left, and well, that'll be expended on their way into the site. But I doubt they really got to do anything to hold this. Tabson getting ready for the push. XANTARES will find one, but it's all wrapped up. XANTARES into the 1-on-2. Time is ticking though, and there's MHL to wrap it up. 18-18, and well, we continue. Double OT on the way.
Double OT coming up. Hot damn. XCOMAGO. They pull it together. They pull it together, and they will force Big to fight for this victory with their teeth and nails, and it will not come easy for one or the other side, but it is a very successful battle for XCOMAGO, and certainly a better one than we expected from the get-go. And Furlan, 35 frags currently. Hot dang it. It is just crazy, crazy town.
Insane so far. Putting up numbers that no one on the actual server is close to at the moment. He's leading by 9 kills. No, sorry, 7 kills.
Yeah.
Across his entire team, and 9 away from Big. So he's been the man that's providing the majority of the kills for the Aggo side. And again, as they'll be on the T side to begin this overtime, maybe a little bit of an easier opportunity to control the economy of Big. Considering that Smooya, of course, will be buying for that AWP as expected. Should be bringing that out straight away. But again, Smooya himself has particularly looked like a fairly quiet asset throughout this game. Which really starts to ask a lot of questions, considering that this is the map pick of Aggo, but one that Big in the past have notoriously played pretty well. It is one they played on the stage of Mochi against VP and lost to that as well.
Yep.
This side has to really start to hit their shots, and well, Smooya. Beautiful way to start.
He heard you, and he's got something to say to you. Yeah, I mean, certainly I would have expected Smooya to be perhaps a bit more of a have a bit of a bigger impact even. Although he has been performing when most needed. That is certainly there's certainly no denying that. Although on the other side, it's XANTARES that kind of disappointed me up to this point, right? He is definitely, or he was definitely one of the most prominent players of 2017 to 18, and you know, he was once called the online god, the god that you couldn't defeat, and once he came on lands, he still proved to everybody he was damn good at it. In the end, yeah, he's been having a bit of a tough time, and hopefully they can get. Wait, what is this bomb drop? How did they? Like, what is XCOM doing right now? It's a 3-on-3. It's a B take, and Tizian's holding through car. Even what is this round right now? What is going on, Csgo? I mean, 3 players in tunnels, and then they push with 1 or 2 towards B and lose the bomb, and then 20 seconds later, the rest of the 3 push as well. It's like, what?
A little weird. Big,
yeah.
Rightfully so, winning that round if that's the way that Csgo want to play it. Very odd commitment to that one. Giving Big their round number 19, moving into this first map. Again, Big looking to snatch away the map pick of Csgo themselves. Try and go into Nuke with that one advantage they've got on their back to play with. And so far, Csgo could even see a clean 3-0 out of Big. If they win this round, the money again is well there for 3 players. Not particularly for the further 2. I wouldn't even be surprised if Furlan was dropped an AK by one of these players, considering how good that he's been playing so far. You want him on a rifle every single opportunity that's possible.
Oh yeah.
But again, Csgo,
definitely
slowing it down. I just hope they don't over-slow things down, because they've been a sucker to that before already. And especially challenging Smooya toward a long, that AWP. MHL looking for the early swing. Not going to get it. Doesn't even choose to rattle off a shot either. 50 seconds on the clock, and Csgo, they can't really leave this any longer than sort of 35 seconds, and the re-smoke might really start to harm them. The flash is good, but Tabson's better. Only gets the 1, but again, the utility of Big is so good for slowing these players down.
Indeed it is. They've got 2 flashbangs left, though. That's going to be a bit of an issue if they wish to control long and sight on sight at Smooya. He's got the AWP. If he dies, that's A side gone, and well, XCOM Csgo. A 2-on-3 retake for Big to come. Next. Oh, he pushes through, but Furlan is ready. Back to Tizian it goes. A 1-on-2. And the man of the hour, can he save it? And I mean, let's be fair for a second here. In a 1-on-3, 9 possible. And I think it's going to be 19-19. Indeed it is. Tizian already pulling away, saving what he can. Damn, Csgo. Even though they open up with a pretty weird start, they're still contesting this this second half, or this second OT, and they are pulling all the cards out of their sleeves right now, and absolutely succeeding at it. XCOM Csgo, they'll be happy with the way this has turned out to be. If they can succeed with picking up the 20th and potentially, you know, winning the first one on the second half, and just maybe we could see a bit of a different outcome in the end.
Money is not good for Big. I mean, thankfully they've got enough in the bank to drop out rifles. But Csgo at this point, they'll be looking to try and grab themselves round number 20, and what a position they might put themselves into. Smooya, that's the shot that we want to see him hitting. Csgo's idea right there was to just rush that B bomb site, and it slowed down. It stopped exactly by Smooya there. They've now had to divert toward that lower position. And what an advantage to grab. Europa finally seeming to show up here. Taking a sweet minute. He is there now. 38 rounds. Make this round 39. A site control again. Sort of Big playing it in the similar fashion that Csgo do. They don't play on the site themselves. They coordinate their take from out to long and through CT. Smokes down towards short, and this is where Tabson has to show up. Flashbang over the top and still able to evade the Molotov, but again, they've already crossed without him really realizing. Site control to be established, and this is not a good way for Big to be playing around the site right here. 4-on-4 as that bomb is planted, decent damage with the nades, but again, they need at least a trade back, and that's what Tizian will grab. Lerman to be shut down and at least giving them a little bit of a bite in the cherry. Why Smooya just hesitating, but doesn't matter as he finds 2. Rises to the criticism, next there to finish, and 20-19, Big will wrap it up.
Whew, what a butt-clenching round once more, coming down to the bones, coming down to the last few, and Smooya saves the day there. If he doesn't get the second kill on short, that's the round gone, because with short control established, Csgo could play after plant easily, and don't even need to worry about it. 20-19 though, and it is going to be Big. They're going to be taking the lead in this second half for the first part, or the first half of the second overtime, excuse me. And well, we're about to see how it all turns moving forward. Csgo double up immediately. It was... The ops came out before the Kevlars. That tells you volumes of how much they want to play the double up. Although, well, I don't really... I'm kind of worried about Csgo, if I'm completely fair. Although Tapson, Tapson's dead. Okay, I guess that works. Even will be refragged.
Oh, Tizian.
Oh, that's what you want to see. I mean, they lose 1, but with Tizian's refrag, that's all you need. Double up to hold it. Might not be enough.
Especially when they've traded 2 kills so quickly. Double up in a position where you have a disadvantage is never a good position to be in. Smoke down toward A-Long, and that is something that Big might be trying to exploit. Again, Smooya, this sort of mid-hold might be their undoing as well. They've given up the site control, but not for Furlan. He'll be able to take down Tizian and into the 3-on-3. A minute left on the clock as that bomb is to be planted.
Bomb has been planted.
XANTARES holding from ramp, but this CT retake surely going to be incredibly difficult. They've got Furlan down to 13 points of health. It's essentially all relying on MHL and Sydney. Trying to go for maybe an early peek to distract the shot, but again, they're not even going to move a muscle there for the side of Big. XANTARES, flashbang over the top, and it leaves them fully blind, but they line up. Furlan's still down to 7, and that should be the round already done. It's into a 1-on-2, and Sydney, last man, should not be winning this one.
No time.
Even with a kill onto Smoot. Round is gone, 21, and Big. It's been a long time coming, but one of these sides has finally got themselves a map point to work with.
Certainly was a long time coming, and, you know, Big, they've succeeded big time, finally breaking Csgo. Unfortunately, they don't break them economically speaking, but they certainly open themselves up to close out the map. MHL, though, the entry is his on long. It's going to be Tapson's to be caught. And all of a sudden, Big start off with a big disadvantage. Next at 54 already as well. And it's Big that is caught in this weird bubble once more, where they might be put to hold again. And, well, we're about to find out how it goes. MHL holding from this barrel's position on long, or excuse me, on site. Smooya, the tag is there, down to 18, and a great start for Csgo. Couldn't be better, really, in this current position. We can see that the money as well coming down to pretty much the last few dollars in the bank. MHL.
Oh my. Oh my.
That's 20, I think. Oh, yep. MHL. Is that an ace? No, Furlan denies it, but hot dang it. Csgo, specifically MHL, he's having a fun time, isn't he? And 42 frags for Furlan, by the way. Second overtime, and he's at 42 frags. 33 from MHL. They really are coming up to a few new numbers here. And Big, obviously a tactical being called out for them. And this warrants a discussion that is going to take a few seconds here to try and see what the hell they can do even to put an end to this.
This is seriously looking out of hand right now for Big. Again, just back into the final round of overtime. Bago are able to win this one, then we go into double OT. Make that triple OT. starting to get to a point where no winner is again being decided, but game is live. Next, of course, we'll have the rifle. Tizian the same. Or does Tizian buy an AWP? Never mind, Smoothie has got one. So, Csgo themselves actually not playing an AWP. Okay, never mind, they are. Missed that one a little bit there. I was going to say, MHL just popped off with 4 in the previous. Where's it gone? But
Yeah.
it is rightfully instated onto that Csgo side. And big, this is a must-win round for them. They lose this, they go into another stretch of overtime. And that's where, essentially, Csgo might just get a lot stronger if they can snatch away this first map and move into Nuke. It's really anyone's game. Smooth, you're close on the corner, has to be careful. Here's the players retreating. The man just trying to stay as safe as he can do. But again, a massive slowdown in this round from Big. They do not want to give anything for free to this Csgo squad, not without a possibility of a trade or even some free kills to come. But seems like, again, it is going to be the A bomb site. MHL is so ready for this, though. If they challenge Long, if they try and peek into his AWP, he is ready 100%. And Big, do they have the means necessary to take him down? He's been solid in this overtime so far.
We're about to find out. MHL finds one. Lehman refrags immediately in pit, and all of a sudden, the gig is up. It's going to be Big hitting A site. They've got a man coming through mid, though. That's going to be XANTARES again on the flank, or at least on the choke. And it's going to be XANTARES with one, but it's not enough. MHL caught Tapson beforehand. Back to a 3-on-2. And Big once more find themselves on the precipice of being completely and utterly dismantled. And potentially third overtime coming on the board. Nyx and Tizian. They have to win this. I mean, 3 overtimes, that's a lot. And that's going to be a problem, I feel like, more for Big than anything else. Their stamina might be running a little bit low. Tizian will be caught by Grubby. 1-on-3. Next. Well, he finds one, but that's it. Third overtime confirmed. We are going into a potential 6 more rounds, and then afterwards, maybe even another one. Oof.
We're not stopping yet.
Csgo. We're not done yet, gentlemen. We are not done yet. That is for certain. What a game this is coming out to be. And unfortunately, we're not seeing the player cameras, but I wonder if the exhaustion from playing already this long for a single map is showing or not.
This is only the first map as well. This is getting sort of out of hand already. 43 kills on Furlan. And not going to be slowing down. And again, like you said, now that Csgo have brought this back into another round of OT, you've got to assume that it actually favors Csgo more than it does Big right now. They've got a potential. They've got their own map pick to play after this one. And again, it's going to be the same sort of energy of both sides. They're both going to be lacking a little bit of morale, a little bit of energy moving into map number 2. Of course, they've played sort of nearly 1.5 games of CS if it ends in triple overtime right now. Which again, it is not expected to do so.
Yet.
This could keep on going. We've seen
World
more
record
overtimes than this at the moment. Notably the Heretics TFT game where it went to 28-25 on Dust 2. That was one that really broke the bank. AWP is being swapped out as well. MHL to bolster that one now onto the back of the bomb site. And again, Big. They seem really very scared to go toward the B bomb site. Yeah, they are always pressing towards A right now. And again, with this A long control to be established, and Tara's going to be the first man in. But as soon as they lose that initial frag, that's where they have to start to really switch up their ideas. Groovy might even get a flashbang from his teammate throughout this smoke. But MHL again playing safe and Big. They need this early entry killer as Csgo again, with the way they're holding sight, going to be indestructible.
Well, certainly feeling like it. MHL at Gandalf hiding patiently. He's waiting for the engagement of one of his teammates through CT, or at least the queue for the smokes and the utilities to be flowing in. And here we go, it begins. XANTARES, alongside his teammate Tapson, will be pushing onto site, and he finds himself the first. That's going to be Grubby to fall. Okay, there we go. Tapson secondary. That's an important frag now. MHL out and about. That means that all of a sudden Big have a very fair chance to take this round easily. And Csgo, they're already saving. Yeah, they're already pulling back. They realize, you know what? It's not worth even trying this. Let's just get the hell out of Dodge. They've got very little money left in the bank, if you can count it. And Csgo, they do rely on those AWPs to help them control the pace of Big as well. And they certainly need to rebuy the next. In any case, well, Big start off again with a perfect beginning, having themselves the 22nd round. And also, kind of, you know, this is a bit of a relaxing moment for them because with this victory of the first round, they at least secured themselves basically a bye up until the very end of the half itself.
That's the best part for Big as well. Ensure they have that investment because that's something they can use as leverage over Csgo now as well. Even with saving those 3 rifles, they have got to reinvest. I've got to spend the majority of their bank balance and another tactical pause to be called, I assume, from Csgo. A little bit of discussion time, and again with Erlan, 43 frags, which right now adds up to a frag per round. We're currently just played round number 43. That's 43 frags.
Staggering amount of kills.
Yeah, but we know that he was at 43 before we even reached round number 43.
Yep.
It's theoretically been more than a kill per round, but now is obviously leveled off, so carrying his team to maybe not enough as an extent. Need the players like Leman and Sydney to be showing up. Even XANTARES bottom fragging with 22 kills is pretty decent. They've finally got some consistency. I mean, up until round maybe 9 or 10, Smooya was on 5 kills, Tizium was on 3, now they're both on 30.
They're definitely waking the hell up, and they're bringing their best into this. And, you know, I guess in a way, they just needed a little bit of a wake-up call, and what a better way to go into overtime number 3 already. 22-21, Big this time. They take a bit of a different approach to the round itself. No longer are they going to be going hard aggro early on. They have themselves the full men gathered in front of Long, and XCOM, they're unsure what's happening, and to be fair, I mean, there's no reason for them to do anything but just be patient, wait, and just make sure you don't lose a B site. That's it. You can retake A if you want, but B site should be a big no-no of dropping it. And, well, Furlan, he's so deep posted in upper B that there's a lot of information going to Csgo. They know this is going to be a long push, or at least now they realize that the first miss of MHL might cause the loss of Lemon, but no, he takes down 2 with him. He's still alive somehow. He can even go into pit if he wants to prolong his life a little while longer. And Big, they delay, yet they lose 2 without a single response. Yet finally Smooya comes through. Oh! Collateral by MHL.
Through a wall, I think. I think it just clipped the corner of the wall, hence why both got tagged, but no one died.
Jesus. H. Whew. That is... What a way to open up the round, or at least to close out the round. It's going to be grubby. But one more. Smooya pulls it back. 20 seconds, though, and Dabson in a 1-on-2. 16 seconds. He can plant the bomb, if nothing else. He's got that going for himself. Ooh, Furlan. Okay. Wiser than most. Will not allow himself to be caught. Grubby. Let's see how Tapson fights this. Pop flash high. Tapson peeks out wide, finds one, but the flank is there. That is going to be it. That is going to be 22-22. Oh.
Well, and smart
Nice
enough to
attempt,
switch into
way.
a rifle as well there.
Oh, yeah. Definitely better choice to switch out into a rifle. But yeah, 22-22, my friend. And by the looks of it, we're nowhere near done yet. Csgo, they have themselves a full investment, double up yet again. And a bit of a saving grace there with that victory. Big, I mean, they need to come out big now. They need to really talk it out. I don't know, take a tactical pause, discuss what the hell is going on. How are you being shut down that easily this early on? As for Csgo, well, I mean, kudos to them. They've done a beautiful job at maintaining a presence at all times. MHL finds one. Pop Flash is flying high, trying to deny any sort of vision. Players defending the site. MHL. Ooh. Okay, nobody's going to be jumping there. Never mind. 4-on-5 retake of A site. Csgo, let's see how they attempt this one now. Where's Furlan? The delay in the rotation, though, is a bit concerning. Taps himself the return. At least a 4-on-4 is going to be happening here.
Big might win this.
Yeah, they certainly have the advantage with the rifles, right? And playing in after-plant positions that they are right now, it favors them heavily.
XANTARES, beautiful swing. MHL shut down. Tizian finds the one onto Furlan. Swing by XANTARES. Able to take it down, and Tabson's there on the flank. 23-22. And Csgo, that rotate, like you said, was so slow. Furlan, when the bomb was planted around 37 seconds left, was still on that B site for some reason. But either way, they have finally guaranteed themselves what is a single round advantage going into the CT side. Need 2 rounds on CT to close it out. Arguably the easier side of Dust2 to play. We might have ourselves be a winner in this one, but it seems like it is so undecided at the moment. Csgo, all they need is sort of 1 or 2 rounds. Really throw a spanner in the works of Big right now, and they've got a B spawn. Surely they go B fast here. Yeah, 3 players straight down toward that B tunnel position. Whether they commit or not is questionable, but even look for an early frag toward lower if you want. That might be exactly what they're looking for, but look at XANTARES. This is a nice push to be making right now. I don't think Csgo will be aware of this, considering they've not done this in 46 rounds. I would have let MHL live in that position, but either way, XANTARES, this is the man that we've been wanting to see, finds the double. That's all he's going to get,
first time.
But he has the advantage.
Well, for the first or the second time in this map, he actually pulls off a pretty crazy play and succeeds with it. And well, Csgo, they're going to be hitting their heads against the wall for that mistake, letting him pass through short unopposed and unchecked. And that's going to be a perfect start for Big, really. XANTARES. It's better that he gets away with a few frags rather than having done nothing at all. And Csgo, it's going to leave a bit of a sour taste in their mind, or at least in their mouth. Certainly going to be feeling the effects of it. Smuyad Kar, this position he's been playing from consistently. Not sure why he doesn't switch it out a little bit, right? Try to be a little bit more dynamic with it. Every time he defends A, he's usually playing from Kar. And right now, the pop flash doesn't work out really. Grubby has been a bit too soon to push, or is a bit too fast to push, and it's going to be a free frag for Smuyad. Relocating onto a bit of an off angle. The nade is not really going to do too much damage. There we go. 2v4 retake of A side. Csgo, can they prevent Big to go up to that map point once more? Or is it going to be actually the saving grace from Lehman and Sydney putting XCOM back on track?
They just boosted Tabson onto the back of the site, and he has no idea. All down to Sydney. Right through the smoke onto Neeks, but again, the peak is there. 24-22 and Big. They now have 2 map points to play with. Surely they do not get out of this one here, Csgo. Surely it is now too much to handle.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, there shouldn't really be much Csgo can do. Although I say much they can do 2 rounds in a row is possible. It's definitely not out of the question, and we've seen them make it back already. But again, okay, Furlan. There goes one. It's going to be Tabson to return. Still going to be a pretty sick entry coming out from Furlan, though. Csgo. Even Tizian realizing how good that shot was. But as I said, Csgo, 2 rounds in a row is what they need.
Especially with Big having a bye in the next round as well.
Yep.
Gonna be 2 very hard fought rounds. Smoothia, gap in the smoke, able to get out, but not for long. MHL.
Jesus.
Early damage, Leman to finish him off, and now Ares.
You gotta be joking me, right?
Does absolutely nothing. Again, MHL damage down to low. Finally a nade to finish him off, but well, that's the 23rd round almost confirmed, right?
Back to a 2v3 retake of B, and we always, well, we know what usually a B retake means, especially in a 2v3 scenario for the CTs.
With LeMan this close, I'm already ticking Molotov over the top, at least to force out the first, but LeMan still running and gunning. 24-23. We are getting scarily close to another batch of overtime. Csgo, they are not giving anything up right here, taking big to full extent, and we're way past this point.
Yeah.
But we're past the point of all strategy now. It is just about who can get the kills quicker. All the strats have been exhausted. All of the possible ways of winning this round are out of the window, but maybe there's a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel for Smoo. He takes down Furlan. Nice entry to work with.
Big Smoo gets himself one, as he said. That's just the big if, the big question mark. Just maybe this is doable for Big to close out this game. One round on the clock, on the board, and they are going to be successful in picking up Dust 2. Csgo, I can't imagine they'll be happy with losing this map if it does come down to it, but with the way they've played, I think there's going to be a lot. The second map is going to be a lot harder than anybody could even have imagined. XANTARES playing very open, very exposed. He is low HP already, down to 41. One bullet, he might as well be dead, although he's going to find the bomb carrier. There's the one. He goes for the right peak, not sure why, but Lehman refrags. Stapson holds the line. He's still going to be held by an MHL. Back to 3-on-2. And the bomb site is taken, the bomb planted, and Big now. They've got a man advantage onto an A retake. Surely they're going to be able to succeed in it. Taking their sweet time, though. Smuya on short. And Nexon Theesian coming in through CT. Smuya. Just moving at the time that the Krabby peaks.
Oh, no.
MHL finds one. MHL. No tag. No kills. Misses another shot. Uh-oh. Back to a one-on-one. Now
no
Smuya.
kit for Smoo.
No time. That's it. That's the fifth overtime. Or that's the fourth overtime. Yeah. Fourth overtime coming up.
Oh boy. Oh boy. We keep on going.
Getting a little bit out of hand.
Seriously, there's again just looking like no winner whatsoever here. We started finally maybe seeing Big have an advantage, but again just straight out of the window.
By the way, I think there was a kit on site.
There was.
To the, yeah.
Just in front of sort of one of the boxes.
Yep.
We started this first map at 2:50 my time, by the way. It is now
Yep.
4:50 nearly.
22:06.
22. Yep. This map has nearly lasted a whopping 2 hours, which just shows how committed both of these sides are. No one is going to be giving it up for hell no leather right now. And again, with Big back onto the CT side, Csgo straight rush towards B. They did this at the first round of the other overtime. Back in OT number 2, and well, they'll be trying it again this time.
Well, to be fair, there should be success going to be. Since there's two players there, and they're in a bit of a different position than what you're used to seeing. Furlan finds one, he's in refrags, but it doesn't last long. And like I said, they might find success. The two defenders were in a bit of a weird position for the crossfire, the hold itself. And it's going to be back to a 3-on-4 retake. Big. They've got XANTARES coming in through tunnels. Bomb yet to be planted. Big have to wait for the bomb to be planted. There's no reason for them to push. Tapson gets a free frag though. Grubby to fall. Oh, whew, MHL misses a shot. In tunnels though, XANTARES pushes deep. The bomb has been planted, but it's still a 2-on-3. And all of a sudden, Csgo, they might just be able to pick up the 25th right here, right now. Just potentially winning the first round of overtime number 4. Let's see how this goes. Both players entering through doors. And there it is. That's it. Tapson, no chance he wins, unfortunately. As much as he wants to try it. 25-24, Csgo. They go B. They succeed. Let's see if they go once more towards B. Can they perhaps make life a little bit easier for themselves? A good spawn for MHL to peek B, at least. He can try and perhaps catch one of the defenders off guard and unprepared. And a full commitment by the looks of it. Not necessarily committing, as he said. They can still divert down to lower. But they're going to let MHL peek first. And if he gets a frag, they're going to pounce directly onto site. Big on the other position, though, is in a bit of a dire spot. They can't afford to lose this. They lose this round and they have $0 left in the bank. And almost certainly that should be 3 in a row for Argo. If that is
I think this is what this overtime needs. It needs someone to win 3 rounds in a row to be able to guarantee any form of success, because seen 2 rounds won and still Big weren't able to close it out. And exactly what we need is someone to take the reins of this game, because now it's just sort of stagnated to rushing here, rushing there, trying to trade the kills, and he just who gets the round to continue with, but needs someone to take it by the scruff of the neck and win themselves all 3 rounds. That is exactly what Csgo were trying to do, but going to have a very tough time of doing so. 2 players toward the B bomb site. We know that is enough to hold the site itself. Next, having the crossfire support with Tizian. Not really a crossfire, but the positions supported well enough. Tizian, great first peek. Now has the support out of Nex. And what can Csgo really do at this point? Tizian just ripping down a further player, and as they all go out singular, yeah. MHL.
Single file. Let's go. 1 by 1, let's go fight them through a choke point. Try and do our best. Yeah, that's not going to work ever. Csgo, heavily burned. 25-25. Double up. Dire times require dire measurements. And it is going to be Grubby and MHL to wield it. Kieran, at this point, I just want to see an ending to the map.
Seriously,
this is only the
right?
first one.
I'm not too fussed who wins this right now. I just love to go and actually see who wins it. Because either way, we know we've got a series on our hands if this is the way that it's going to be spelling out to be. Big as they level the scoreline back off again. I doubt that Csgo will be returning to B anytime soon in this B side that they play. Big. Flash out toward A long. Smoothie with the advantage. Does get tagged, forced to retreat, but Tabson's there for the support. Well, then able to trade one onto XANTARES, but Smoothie is there again.
Yeah.
Finding the 4-on-2 now, and it seems like Big may have the better energy moving into the latter rounds of these overtime scenarios. Great shot by MHL.
That is Spider-Man stuff almost. Batman stuff flying in, taking heads off. Japson, Smooth, and Tizian. What a
shot, though.
Reflex shot, yeah, what a flick. 26-25. And a 1-round difference for Big. We've seen them in this kind of position before. Certainly having at least a round difference helps them mentally speaking, but it's not going to be much of a difference because Csgo, they've been able to pull it together no matter what Big so far have thrown on the table. In any case, we're starting our second half of the 4th overtime right here, right now. It is going to be Big moving on to their aggressive side, and I wonder what they bring to the table here.
Probably an A-long push, like every single other round of Bigs.
Oh, dude, imagine that, yeah. Well, by the looks of it, it's not A. For the first time, it's not A.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. I think they've heard our praise, or maybe they've heard the prayers of so many people watching them. It's going to be MHL with an entry, though. He's still hiding in the smoke. He's still somehow alive. Gets away scot-free. Where's the response, Big? They knew he was there. He couldn't be anywhere else, yet the pop flashes, the utilities work against them, unfortunately. And that is going to be Csgo with an entry already. And, well, Big, what do you know? Back towards A we go. This is starting to take a bit of a wild turn, isn't it?
Seriously, we're currently now at that precipice of around 1.6 entire games of CS. 1.75 coming close to with the amount of rounds that we're playing right now. This time Big. Executing out toward that A-bomb site. This time through short instead of long. MHL reads it like a book. Could have bit of a slow reaction out of Furlan. Perhaps unable to take him down and back into a 4-on-3. Retake going to be difficult. But again, with that man advantage that Csgo have, should definitely not be out of the way, not be out of the reach. Is he going to be approaching very, very closely? Takes the first, and that forces Groovy to stay very safe. Smooya onto that AWP. Flash is good. Has to keep his head down, though. And with short supported, Smooya's there to take down the man. And now it's really starting to fail as it's all down to the man himself. Wow. And Big.
Okay.
27-25. Map point for Big, and they now again have 2 map points to play with.
Well, I mean, this is what, the 3rd time they've had this opportunity to go into, to close it out, to win it. I believe it was only the 2nd overtime that Csgo was close to actually closing it out, and they were actually on the map point themselves. Instead, Big, well, they find the entry. That's a good start. It all begins well. XANTARES opens it up as well. It gives them a fighting chance, perhaps. Finally, in pit, there's... Ooh, they didn't check pit. They didn't check pit at all.
They've got to.
Well, if they don't, they might as well surrender now.
Oh, boy.
Oh, my God.
Someone, please, just look in pit right now.
Look at Grubby. Oh. You know what I want to see? Grubby just walking out.
Walk up with them,
killing Smooya.
Yep.
Yeah, and then killing everybody else as well. Let's see how it goes. Oh, look at the lineup. Look at the lineup. Oh, my God. Oh. Nobody turns around. Luckily, XANTARES, the aim is true, though, and it's going to be Teasian with one more. Jesus. Even with that kind of flank, it's still not enough, apparently, for Csgo. Back to 2v2. The bomb going to be planted. MHL, the op, in his hands. A kit on Sydney.
XANTARES just goes to pit. There's no need for him right now to be...
Yeah, I was just about to say, right?
As long's now already been taken. Sydney on his way forward. Great shot by XANTARES.
1-on-1.
It's down to a 1-on-1. MHL up in hand, but as they go for the peak...
Oh, XANTARES.
We finally have a winner of this map. It is going to be Big, and I don't think there's a lot more to be said about that. We'll be going straight into a bit of a break. Give us a chance to get some war through. We're here for 2 hours and 5 minutes with this one, so we'll be just dipping out, and we'll be back with you very soon.